Hello, everybody. It's my great pleasure to make a speech here today. I'm Nobu from Astroscale. Have you ever heard of space debris? It's a garbage in space. Thank you very much. 5 years ago, I saw less people raising hands. Sorry, I lost my clicker. Sorry. Yes. When I was 15, I went to NASA to join space camp. And I met with a Japanese astronaut, and he ignited a passion in my mind. Space is courage, dream, exploration. And I had a big dream to the space. But when I became 40, 25 years later, I found the space is surrounded by debris. Can you see these red dots? All red dots are space debris, garbages. And they are flying with 7 to 8 kilometers per second. And they go around 16 times a day. Can you see white dots? White dots are operating satellites. So there are more than 23,000 debris in space. And there are only 1,400 operating satellites in space. So more than 95% of the objects in space are garbages, debris. These are made of three things. One is old satellite. Second is rocket upper stages. Rocket first stage go down to the ocean, but the second stage, third stage continue flying around the space. And the third is fragments caused by collisions or explosions of these debris. So the size of the debris varies a lot from particle level to 5 to 10 meters, the large objects. These objects started to collide each other and cause small fragments. Even the small fragments have enough power to blow up other operating satellites. So these kind of chain reaction of the collision already started. So space is not sustainable anymore. So based on the various simulations by space agencies, we know the number of debris will continue to grow, and we will not be able to use space anymore in future. It is consensus among space industry that we have to remove large objects now before it gets smaller. We are dependent on space technologies like logistics, weather forecast, GPS, timestamp, communications. So we cannot live without space technologies. Those technology companies cannot make operations without space technologies. So it's critical for us to secure space assets by making space sustainable. Who should solve this issue? Is the government? Since space is a global commons, I still believe the government should take leadership. And the United Nations have its specific committee to talk about space debris. But however, I know them a lot, and they are making a lot of efforts, but they have had a tough time to make effective solutions because there are around 200 countries in the United Nations, and each country have its own say. So it's really hard to get consensus. That's why the number of debris has just continuously grown up over the time. And we know the number of debris will continue growing with acceleration because more and more industry will join the space industry, more and more countries will join the space industry. So we have to stop this. We have to stop this. I found this issue 5 years ago, or 6 years ago. By knowing this, if you were me, what would you do? What would you do? By knowing this, space is not sustainable anymore. I had two options. One is to just ignore let my kids to take care of this issue. The second option is to stand up and solve this issue. I thought there's a way commercial company, even startup, can solve this issue. So I set up this Astroscale 5 years ago in Singapore. So how to solve this issue? We have to solve 3 issues simultaneously. One is technology. There is no proven technology in space to remove space debris. If you are asked to remove, capture flying airplane, I think it is easier than capturing space debris, because space debris is rotating and moving very fast, much faster than airplane, and it's far away. We cannot see. So there's no proven technology at the beginning. Business model, who pays money? Who pays money for removing the space debris? And we have to provide the specific value proposition to get money. The third is regulations. I don't talk much about regulations, but it's very complex. So we have to solve technology, business model, regulations concurrently. That's the only way to solve this space debris issue. What I did on day 1 was to set up the timeline. So this is what I made in the first day. Okay, I decided to solve this issue within 7 years. Solve technology, business model, regulations in 7 years. So within our company, we call this 7-year marathon. Every 2 years, we have a specific goal to achieve. And actually, we are close to 2020. And as of today, we are ahead of this schedule. So from the next slide, I will tell you where we are. Just honestly, we are not perfect. We have more work to do, but I will tell you where we are. Now, our team is around 53 or 4 people, and our team are scattered in the world. We raised a fund around $53 million US. Our management team is quite well diversified with gender, nationality, and age. Our technological approach is this, twofold. For the large objects, the right side, we have to remove them before it gets smaller. For the small debris, there are billions right now. Since we cannot clean up them, we have to protect our satellite. So to do that, we have to monitor the density of the small objects. So we developed the satellite to monitor the density of the small debris, and we are also developing the satellite to remove the large objects. So this is a part of our team, that we have clean room, and we launched the first one last year. And so these are the last 2 slides are, 2 pictures are, our team, how we working in a launch site. Let me explain about the business model for debris removal. This is a we spend a lot of time to develop. So we divided it 2 segments. For the future mission, for future debris, mostly comes from constellations. Constellation is a word where one company launches hundreds of thousands of satellites together so that the company can have a coverage across all around the sphere, anytime, anywhere. So there are more than 100 programs of the constellation in the world. And their satellites cannot be 100% perfect. Some percent of their satellite will go defunct in space. Once their satellite go defunct, they have to replenish with a new satellite to keep the coverage. To do that, they have to remove the old satellites. That's our job. So this is a B2B business. We are talking with the constellation players to make their orbit sustainable. Regarding the existing debris, which is already there, these are mostly littered by the governments. So we are talking with the governments across the world. until 2 years ago, governments were just listening. Now they are active. They stand up, and they are actively talking with us. So demand is clear now. Business model is clear now. We are now talking about the price points. This is the first worldwide first satellite to demonstrate space debris removal technologies, ELSA-D. We are now under a lot of testing simulation on the ground, and we're going to launch in 1.5 years later. Also, we are developing a control center and a ground stations like antenna, and so that we can communicate with our satellite properly. So our team are quite busy on space segment and ground segment together. Based on these activities, we got these awards, actually more than these, and we really appreciate this because by receiving these awards, our team understands that we are doing the right things. Our mission takes a long time, but we have to do this. So our team is so busy, but we gathered for passion, and we are making effort every day. You can forget all these slides, and just remember this one slide. This is the most important slide today. There's 60 years ago, there's no debris in space. Now we are covered by this debris. The big difference between Earth's environmental issue and the space environmental issue is, for example, the global warming. We don't know to what extent human being did and to what extent nature did. We don't know. But the space environmental issue is 100% caused by human beings. That's why it's us who solve this issue. So we have to make efforts to make space sustainable, and we really appreciate your interest and understanding of this issue. That's all. Thank you very much.